How would you react if you heard the minimum wage is going to $15 an hour? A lot of people would be like, yes, that's a great thing. It's going to make everything better. Everybody's going to have more money in their pockets. Today, I'm going to talk to you about why we should not raise the minimum wage. The three things I'm going to talk about is the impact it has on the economy, the impact it has on the workforce, and the impact it will have on small businesses. A lot of people say that raising the minimum wage will create happier lives. It will put more money in people's pockets. Businesses don't need all that money. When you look at McDonald's and how much money their corporate people make, they make a lot of money. A lot of people say they don't need that much money. Less poverty, it'll get people off the streets. And it'll promote economic growth. None of that's really true. First off, we're going to talk about the economy, what it'll actually do. The cost of labor is going to go up, obviously. All companies are going to have to pay their people more, and they really don't want to do that. There's also, because people have to pay their people more, they're going to increase the cost of their goods. And so this is going to mean that when other companies have to buy goods to make their own goods, those goods are going to cost more for them. That's going to just make everything cost more. So that leads to increased prices. This also creates a surplus of workers, which will lead to an increase in unemployment. This is because the United States is set on a free market economy. And so if you look at the graph, say this was 725 where we're set in a nice middle. If the wage were to increase, the demand of workers is going to go down. We're going to want less workers. There's going to be more people going into to want work. And then this gap here is going to be unemployment. So the unemployment went from, if it was 0, to quite a large minimum wage gap. Next thing I want to talk about is the impact it will have on the workforce. People are going to become lazier. If you were offered a job at $15 an hour to go fight fires or be a police officer where you're risking your life every day, or you're offered to work at McDonald's flipping burgers for $15 an hour, a lot of people are going to pick to go work at McDonald's because they're not at any risk of getting their lives injured and they're making just as much money. So we'd be losing a lot of key jobs because firefighters, paramedics, all of them are paid right around $15 an hour currently. So this will create, with all that, it'll still create an increase in unemployment. The final point is the effect on small businesses. I personally worked in a small business when I first started working at 14. The restaurant was struggling constantly, even now, paying their employees minimum wage. Waitresses are paid under minimum wage already in most restaurants, because a lot of, especially the small restaurants, because they can't afford to pay them. Waitresses work off of tips. Same with the bus kids. They get tipped out and get paid below minimum wage, like I was when I first started working. It's because they work on a small profit margin. The small profit margin means that if we increase the minimum wage, increase their labor costs, they're not going to be able to keep up. And that potentially leads to a lot of closed doors. The other option for them would be to increase their prices like everybody else. So when you go to a small restaurant and you see outrageously high prices, or if you see increasingly high prices, you're not going to like it. When you go to a small restaurant, you're looking for cheap prices, a cheap dinner. And so they're going to lose a lot of customers, and this just decreases their profit even more and will lead to them having less profit and having to close their doors. Today we talked about the impact it would have on the economy, with increased prices, increased unemployment. We talked about the impact it would have on the workforce. We have a lot of lazier people, lose key jobs, people will be working where we need them to, and the impact on small businesses. All small businesses are going to eventually close if we increase the minimum wage. So overall, it's a bad thing. So whenever you go shopping, take a look at the prices and think about how the economy works and how it's set up in the United States. Because if we were to increase the minimum wage, it's all going to change. In all reality, the poor people are going to be in a worse spot because they're not going to have a job and everything's going to be more expensive than it is currently.
Oh, yeah.